Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitch Side Podcast channel. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSB. Like, share, comment on this video. Most importantly, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and enable notifications to receive all the updates of this kind of content and all the content of this channel. Follow us on social media. I'm at Side PSB on Twitter, Pitch Side Pod on Instagram. And you could listen to the podcast that had dropped earlier on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform. And we're coming to you with some transfer news and coming from the Premier League, and Arsenal seem to be really busy in these last couple of days of the transfer window of January. They signed, well, it's a signing that came out of nowhere pretty much, signing Matty Ryan from Brighton, the former goalkeeper from Brighton, who hasn't been playing that much this season for Robert Sanchez, and Robert Sanchez has been really tremendous, to be honest with them. Matty Ryan has joined Arsenal on a 6-month loan deal until the end of the season, but this is not the most interesting news, and nor the fact he was a Arsenal supporter as he was a kid, as was growing. That's what he said on Twitter. Anyway, the big news is, of course, is that Martin Odegaard has decided to join Arsenal over returning to Real Sociedad on loan. The deal is expected to be completed in the next few hours, of course, according always to the very reliable Fabrizio Romano. Now, what does this mean for Martin Odegaard? First of all, was this a great choice? Yes, it was, because if you're going to be staying against Real Sociedad and you're going to be playing games against Real Madrid eventually, that would feel bad. That would really suck. But also, it is bad choice for Real Madrid as well to let such a player go without even giving him a chance. I mean, just earlier today, the news broke that Federico Valverde is injured. So, seriously, they're now, depriving themselves of what could have been a really incredible talent on their ranks by letting him go on loan. Yes, it's a 6-month loan until the end of the season, but what if Arsenal decided to buy him? They could do that, and he wouldn't be that expensive, to be fair, considering that he didn't play a lot for Real Madrid, he didn't feature a lot for Real Madrid. That is now 2 spells with Real Madrid where Martin Odegaard is overlooked and overexposed and overburnt. Yes, 2 spells, because if you forgot, Martin Odegaard came to Real Madrid in 2015, and he came with all the hype in the world from Norway. He came in with all the hype in the world as probably the next big star. There's someone who's going to be the next, at that time in 2015, the successor to Cristiano Ronaldo at the time, but certainly he wasn't that case, and he was overburnt and overexposed, played for the under-23s, then went to Real Sociedad, and he was forgotten. I almost forgot that Martin Odegaard, was a actual player who played in football, because he went off the card and off the map so quickly after his spell with Real Madrid ended, and he didn't appear ever since. He resurfaced over the last couple of seasons at Real Sociedad, did so well that he was brought back to Real Madrid in hope to give him a better exposure this time, in hope to give him more play time, in hope to make him the player that he was promised to be back in 2015. That is bonkers to think of. And now Real Madrid shanked him again and sent him on loan again, and now it is to Arsenal. I think a side that doesn't deserve him. Doesn't need him, more than that, doesn't need him. Let's be clear about it. Yes, they just got rid of Mesut Ozil, and they get rid of all of his wages now, which they could spend some of them on Martin Odegaard, certainly. But is he the right choice when you have someone like Emil Smith-Rowe coming off from the academy, rising through the ranks, being the player that he is right now, almost turning himself into a focal point of the club very quickly? So the question is, do you need Martin Odegaard? I said it earlier, I don't think that Arsenal need him. It is the right move for him, because he needs to leave Real Madrid and go to a club where he can get some playtime. But surely, you cannot just overlook Emil Smith-Rowe and burn Smith-Rowe to the ground just because he brought Odegaard to the club. Now, as far as this move is concerned, so certainly it's going to be a done deal by the next couple of hours. He will be an Arsenal player. Certainly he'll get some playing time with the hectic schedule of Arsenal. Europa League, there's Premier League, there's FA Cup coming, and certainly he will get enough exposure. But will he impress Arteta enough to worth a permanent buy? Because he's going to be probably the next in a long series, in fact, of players of Real Madrid rejects, talk about the Chelsea rejects and the likes of De Bruyne and Lukaku and Mo Salah. Talk about now the Real Madrid rejects that are doing really well outside, the likes of Achraf Hakimi, Theo Hernandez, Sergio Reguilon. And if Martin Odegaard joins that kind of ilk now, I think Real Madrid are going to be in deep trouble, and they're going to be regretting a lot of things at the moment. With the fact that Achraf Hakimi went out of the club, they lost a player that could have been a very solid right back for them. The fact that Theo Hernandez and Reguilon left the club, they lost two options of brilliant left backs on their ranks that could have easily replaced Ferland Mendy, who's decent enough, or even overtake him in the hierarchy of the club. They also, now with losing Martin Odegaard, this is the latest chapter of the failure of Real Madrid Stars kind of project, where they're trying to build, with the youngsters or with their own talent or with the talent that they brought from above in young age or something like that. That failed completely now, and I think it's time for them to move on. Let's look at it from the Arsenal perspective now. This is, I think, the best kind of deal. Of course, no team can go and outright buy players with an expensive price. The best thing at the moment is going to be for all clubs to just settle in with a loan to buy deal and just see how they're going to be getting until the end of the season. That is what Arsenal did. Surely they have no money for that, because I don't think that they have the funds necessary to buy him outright from Real Madrid. Maybe they will do again when the loan ends in June, depending on his performance, and certainly he wouldn't be that expensive, I reckon. Mikel Arteta loves him. He was in contact with him, so surely he would try and give him some game time that can, show the world the talent that he has, and in a proper number 10 position, where I think, Arsenal have struggled for a while to find a good replacement for Mesut Ozil, who finally now is out of the club and who could pursue his life well and truly on, pretty much. Emil Smith-Rowe has risen through the ranks again. That creates some problem, but certainly, they will come to some form of rotating between those two, because I don't think you can drop Emil Smith-Rowe now. At the moment, he's one of the hottest stars. Him and Saka are undroppable at the moment for Arsenal, and for a side like Arsenal that are struggling, and they, sort of struggled a lot early on in the season, and they just about come into the right form, I think it's going to be really wrong to tamper with that squad and just throw Odegaard in and drop Emil Smith-Rowe out. The last bit of news from the Arsenal shopping spree that it is at the moment is Michael Olise, the 19-year-old Reading striker. He is bringing interest from all the clubs around the world, of course, in the Premier League, that is. Arsenal are interested in him, Leicester City are interested in him, and apparently Arsenal are the closer of the two to getting his signing. Certainly another prospect from the Championship. He could be the next big thing for Arsenal, depending on what they do with him. Certainly, we don't want to see the faith of some other Championship players who were promoted to the Premier League and then ended up being loaned somewhere else. One last thing for Odegaard, really. I wish him all the best. Again, I wish him all the best in his loan with Arsenal. I want to see him play. I want to see him get some serious game time. Real Madrid are not using him that properly, using him as a deep line midfielder in a 4-3-3. That doesn't work. That just doesn't work, really. Using him as a box-to-box. He is no box-to-box. We all know that. Martin Odegaard only can be a number 10, and if you saw him with Norway, you will know exactly what I mean. So that's that for the news, for the transfer news from Arsenal, of course. Again, Matty Ryan, I don't know where the hell this came from, Matty Ryan being to Arsenal anyway. Martin Odegaard on loan to Arsenal 6 months, both of them until the end of the season, and certainly the interest in Michael Olise. Of course, we're going to be talking about that more in other videos if we have the chance to. In the end, like, share, comment on this video, what do you think of these deals? Subscribe to the channel, most importantly, enable notifications to receive all the updates. Follow us on social media. I'm at SidePSP on Twitter, PitchSidePod on Instagram, and you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform. I was your boy, the HAD of the PSP, and until the next time, I'll see you soon. Peace.